the concluding part of the festivities tonight, Jacob Ngakane will speak to us, but also perhaps you could introduce Benedict, okay, at the end, and he will also say some words, or as you like, yeah.
Thanks, Tim, and good evening. I'm quite impressed by the quality of the research by the Barnard student and the time that they prepared that. And I'm also deeply touched that they could, within the short period of time, demonstrate such good understanding of our situation and so accurately. I was deeply moved as I was sitting there listening that I spent 2 weeks with them and they come up with these findings. Firstly, I wish to extend warm greetings to the Office of the Dean Studies of Barnard College, Columbia University, Vivian Taylor, and her support team. Many thanks to the Mellon Mays Undergraduate Fellowship and the General Electric Scholarship. We are greatly appreciative of your contribution to the South African cause of transforming our country from apartheid to a true non-racial society with equal opportunities, a South Africa we today all cherish. Many thanks to President Judith Shapiro, the staff, the governing body, the student, and the parents. Madam President, I derive comfort from the Barnard motto, which says, following the way of reasoning. Linking this with your student degree requirements, which expose them to the histories, beliefs, and practices of people different from themselves. This in itself is correcting the record of political correctness. I therefore salute Barnard College for producing useful citizens for sustainable world development. I also wish to extend my special greetings to the members of the Northfield Institute under the leadership of a dearest friend, comrade and his sister, Dr. Marsha Coleman-Adebayo. We have both remained faithful and committed to the Vanadium poisoning program since we met back in 1996, when we both represented our respective countries. This we did despite our challenging environment and many other challenges. I know for a fact that Marsha could not do that without the support of her family and her husband, Professor Shigun Adebayo, because this road is not an easy road. I'm also very happy about the developing partnership between Barnard College and the Northfield Institute. To Professors Diane and Tim, your student delegation, Alexandra, Haley, Alexandra and Kendra, you were great ambassadors of Barnard College and indeed of United States of America. You have touched my life and the lives of many of those you interacted with, including the former Vametco workers. Very heartily, I wish to thank you individually as well as collectively for agreeing to take up the assignment and to travel so many miles to meet friends and families who went through some of the gruesome pains, suffering, and frustration. We all know the difference between paying a visit to a defenseless, impoverished people who cannot afford a decent meal and those who are affluent and well-to-do. It is difficult to afford a smile when you visit such people. Your trip to my country, South Africa, was a different mission, a mission of support and a need to understand our success as well as our challenges. On behalf of the many people you met, we thank you very much. I must also state that America is fortunate to have citizens like you. Barnard College should be very proud to produce citizens that represent it and its country properly. A challenge for all countries as well as all humanity is to build a peaceful and prosperous nations. It is to create a better sustainable world for future generations. These are our responsibilities and we are duty bound to fulfill them. In my country, South Africa, we are celebrating 10 years of democracy as we speak. I am proud and excited to be part of fighting for our freedom, the freedom whose fruits we are enjoying currently. We have all the reasons to be happy about being free as South Africans. We do so knowing that it was a hard-won battle with universal support. We are now dealing with the legacy of apartheid, and we are making great progress. There are, however, still many challenges lying ahead, and vanadium poisoning is one of them. Therefore, I also wish to clarify my position as a former freedom fighter and a trade unionist. I've accepted this invitation to come and share with you my own experiences and to make suggestions of smart and sustainable progressive partnership between all interested parties and potential partners in this struggle. Many papers and video input are circulating around vanadium poisoning. There is new and old data on this subject. And obviously, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a scientist. I do not represent former workers as I was in the past. I have deep-seated passion for social justice, and that's the reason why I'm here. I therefore wish to share with you my continuous interrogation of the impact of vanadium poisoning and important dangerous operation in the third world. Secondly, my continuous interrogation of the impact of apartheid to the vast majority of South Africans. And I want to argue that unless you locate vanadium poison within these two areas, I'm afraid we will not produce a sustainable solution. Brits, which is now today called Madibeng, local municipality, hosts two vanadium groups. These mining companies in South Africa, in Brits, namely the USA Strategic Mineral and a Swiss-based Extractor Mines. The other operations are in Mpumalanga province, also owned by the Swedish company called Extractor. This Swedish company recently resolved its case with its former and current workers and the surrounding communities. Now you have a Swiss company acknowledging to say, look, there is a problem about vanadium. They enter into an arrangement with representatives, current and former workers, and they resolve this matter quite amicably. And this was led by one of the South African attorneys, Richard Spoor, which the delegation met when they were in South Africa. This settlement was recorded as one of the most progressive settlements around environmental problems. Strategic Minerals, which is a USA-based company, has continuously closed their ears. They don't want to listen. They're not prepared to enter into negotiations. They are just displaying terrible arrogance of saying, we don't care, we don't understand you, it's not us, we're not guilty, we don't want to enter into any constructive engagement. And this really worries us, everybody else, to say, can't they just not learn that it pays to listen and just to engage in constructive negotiations? This matter can be resolved better than that, you know? So now this case, for now, it's in the hands of the courts in the United States. There is a local-based attorney at Fagan who is leading on these issues. Therefore, I can't get into the merits of the case as to what is happening because the case is sub judice. But I'm trying to use these two companies to illustrate that where there is a will, there is a way. The Extractor settlement, not necessarily admitting that they are guilty, but claiming to understand the cries and the pains and suffering of the affected people. And you have, on the one hand, the other company refusing to do so. So in the case of Extractor, that makes in my opinion, a business sense. The impression I had when dealing with strategic minerals was of an attitude that we hear your cries and screams, we know that you are dying, we know all your difficulties, but we're not prepared to enter into those discussions. So basically what one is now therefore arguing is that through collective pressures and collective partnerships, we should be able to find a solution to say how best do we induce the other side to come to the negotiating table. I also want to submit that vanadium poisoning exists within an impoverished community with very high unemployment rate, and that has been testified by the student. Tim and Diana, I think they have seen that with the delegation, that even if we solve the question of vanadium poisoning today, which I think we should not stop to support, it is its impact of vanadium poisoning and the apartheid issues that really affected the community of Brits. In my country, there are people with no access to clean water, sanitation, electricity, or proper schooling facilities, and very impoverished. And they're all ravaged, not all, but majority ravaged by HIV/AIDS. Now, there's been these arguments, and some scholars are arguing that in the case of people with HIV/AIDS, we need to give them antiretroviral treatment, which is good. But these scholars will not bother to discuss that what should we do on the issues of the basic fundamentals, like clean water, sanitation, food, and etc., before applying the issue of treatment. Now, to answer what comes first or how you strike the balance should be our contribution to social justice and to identify potential partners in dealing with this matter in a holistic fashion. We know that there is a problem. Surely the big question is how then do we solve and how best can we help? Just in conclusion, I just want to make suggestions as basically the issues of engagement. First, I believe we need to put mechanisms and systems together to ensure that there will be proper accountability of resources, that we must ensure that there is quality of information, etc. This will create smart partnership and create a better risk spread. Secondly, we need all the stakeholders interested in social justice, the former Vameco workers included, to formally agree to the terms and conditions of the partnership. The issue of social justice requires all right-thinking people to work together and not against each other. Let us use this symposium as a forum to declare our commitment to serve humanity. We should circulate this declaration to the former Vameco workers, to their attorneys, to the Brett's local municipality council, the mayor of New York, the South African government, strategic minerals, progressive organization both here and in South Africa. And this should be the Barnard College Humanity Mission or Research Declaration. And this declaration should be based on the following pillars. The first pillar, we need to consolidate our partnerships. We need to identify potential resources. We need to define the scope and beneficiaries. We need to look into institutional arrangements between South Africa and the United States. And we need to look into the implementation schedule and the timeframes. And we need to have regular monitoring and evaluation. Based on the above, I wish to propose that Barnard College should consider continuation of their humanity mission in partnership with the No Fear Institute and other progressive organizations. We need to approach the Wits University in South Africa, which you met. And with these institutions, we need to then try and see how best we can attach to each other. Finally, I've learned working with a group of people with disability. And that movement used to say nothing about us without us. Therefore, whatever that we'll be doing here and in South Africa, we should make sure that we do that in consultation and in conjunction with the affected workers. With that, I wish to thank you very much, and thank you for everybody.